Now, I made money on a trade last month. It was profitable, it was green, however, it was closed in the black. It was a complete failure. Now, if you don't understand why you're gonna blow your account probably twice before you figure it out, let me explain. Now, quick context, I trade crypto. I basically trade on the 4 hour charts, trendline breaks, 1 to 2 day holds. I've got a system, it is written down, rules defined, risk capped to around 1 to 1.5% per trade. Now, what is my historical win rate? It is around like 30%. Yes, you heard it, 30%, and I still made money. Why? It's because my winners are bigger than my losers. Now, that's the math. But when I went back and reviewed my losing trades, almost every single one of them had the same cause. It wasn't a setup, it wasn't the market, it wasn't bad luck. It was me. It was me breaking my own rules. And here's the part nobody talks about. I was also breaking my own rules on the winners. I just got paid for it. And that's way more dangerous than losing. Here's the principle. I need you to write this down. A winning trade with broken rules is still a losing trade. A winning trade with broken rules is still a losing trade. Most trader thinks in terms of P&L. Green is good, red is bad. Simple, but that's wrong. Every trade you take is two separate events. One, the outcome, and two is the process. The outcome, did you make money? Two, which is the process, did you follow your rules? Those two are completely independent. You can have a good process and lose, and you can have a bad process and win. And the market just doesn't care which is which. It'll pay you randomly in the short term. The problem is actually your brain. It just doesn't separate the two. If the trade's green, your brain logs the whole behavior, including the broken rule. It logs it as a success. And it repeats it. That's the problem. It repeats it. And repeats and repeats and repeats. Until one day, this broken rule meets the wrong market and you blow up. And you blow up your account. And you just can't figure out why. Now, I'll give you a concrete example. It was a real trade, a real mistake. It was actually two trades. So basically, I entered a long on Sol. It had a clear downtrend break on the 4 hour. However, it didn't close. The 4 hour candle didn't close, and that was my rule. My rule said if you saw a 4 hour candle close above this downtrend, then take a long. Well, it did it. It just broke it, and it didn't close, and I entered a long. Well, after that, my TP hit. I made money. So I logged it as a winner. Then I took another trade on Bitcoin actually. The same setup, 4 hour break on the downtrend, and boom, I lost that trade. And then I asked why? Why did I lose this trade? Well, I did the same thing as I did with my Sol trade. And then it just clicked. I broke my rules. My rules don't say that if you just see a trend line break, then enter the long. No, my rules said 4 hour candle close above the downtrend, then enter a long. So with my Bitcoin trade, it was a fake out. So I lost my trade. So basically, what the core thesis here is these two were the same behavior, but it was a different outcome. The first one wasn't a skill, it was a coin flip that paid. I just didn't know it. Now, the reason this principle is so hard to internalize is because it fights your biology. Your brain runs on dopamine. Green candle releases dopamine, red candle doesn't. Of course, it depends on your trade. So your brain builds a model. Whatever I did before the green candle, do more of that. Or let's say whatever I did before a winning trade, just do more of that. It doesn't separate waited for confirmation and won from jump in early and won. It just sees win and says repeat. That's it. That's how your brain works. Now, this is why professional traders, the one who last, grade themselves on process, not outcome. Now, they'll close a green trade and still write execution failure. Why? Because they just broke the rules. Now, I know this sounds insane as an average retail trader, but however, it makes total sense once you've blown accounts a couple of times. Now, the pros know the market is a probability machine. Now, short-term outcomes are noise. Long-term, only process survives. Now, how to actually apply it? What do you do with this? Now, number one, grade every trade onto axis. So in your journal, just have two separate columns, your execution and your P&L. So your P&L, if it was a green or a loss, that's normal, everybody does that. However, your execution, you need to grade it as a win or a failure. Even if the P&L is green and your execution was a failure, then your trade failed. And even if your P&L was red, however the execution was a win, you won the trade. The market just didn't reward you. Now, two, celebrate clean losses. This sounds crazy, but it is real. If you took an A plus setup, sized correctly, but however it stopped out at the level you set your stop loss, that's a win. The market just didn't reward you. It's okay. The most important part is the process. Do more of that. Once you do more of that and just don't break the rules, your subconscious mind will say, okay, this is the stuff that I need to do, and that's considered a win. Now, number three, punish dirty wins. Now, if you broke a rule and got paid, the disciplined move is to write it down as a failure, even when it hurts, even when it feels dumb. Because if you don't, your brain logs it as a success, and you're screwed. Now, the goal isn't to make money on every trade. Nobody can make money on every trade. It's just not possible. The goal is to make every trade a clean execution of your system. The money is just a byproduct. Now, so here's what I want you to sit with. Go pull up your last 10 trades, okay? Honestly. And just grade them based on whether you executed based on your rules or you broke your rules. If you can't answer that, you're not trading a system. You're just pressing buttons and getting lucky, and luck runs out. A winning trade with broken rules is still a failed trade. Remember it. Grade against it. That's how you actually get better at this. If this hits, drop a like. If you want me to break down my full trade journal setup, just comment journal and I will see you in the next one. And yeah, just one thing. I have a link down below. It is a link for a 15-minute discovery call, trading discovery call. If you're interested, you can book a call for 15 minutes and I can help you with what you're struggling with.